Welcome back to the Morning Show here on Rise News. Diasporans play an important role in the economic development of Nigeria, and beyond their well-known role as senders of remittances, diasporans also promote trade and foreign direct investment, create businesses and support entrepreneurship. Joining us this morning to speak on the role of diasporans will be playing in the forthcoming election is Charles Efe Sylvester, a UK-based entrepreneur, managing director of Express Group of companies, chairman and patron of many organizations, and the chairman Buhari Diaspora organization. We want to say welcome to the morning show. All right, we actually started off. A lot of Nigerians have not entirely been convinced about the economic policy of this particular administration going into the forthcoming elections with about 4 days to go, just about 4 days to go to the next elections. How would you say Buhari has actually done in the tenure that has been given to him?
Sorry, what's the last statement?
I'm asking the question that a lot of Nigerians don't seem convinced going into the polls about the economic policy over the last 3.5 years, or 3 years going, 3 years, 9 months going into the next polls. What's your response to Nigerians' economic policies in the years in view during this particular tenure of this administration?
In my assessment and assessment of most Nigerians in the diaspora, Nigerians here, the Buhari government has done a lot in terms of economic development and growth. You should remember that there has been a lot of infrastructural dilapidation and degradation that this government has to now fix the infrastructural structure of Nigeria by laying the foundations so that the economy will develop and grow. That is why this government is embarking on rail construction, and also infrastructural development in terms of road construction. These are the basic necessities that you need, and also trying to improve power. Unless that is sorted out, there will be no meaningful economic development. So the Buhari government is laying the foundations for this so that we'll have economic development. Apart from that, there is development in some areas. If you look at the N-Power program, which has employed over 500,000 graduates and 100,000 non-graduates, the multiplier effect is that other people that are along the supply chain of providing training and services to this sector, millions of people have been given the opportunity to have some economic prosperity. If you look at also the school feeding programs, where you have over 9 million people being fed every day, and you have over 100,000 caterers that have been taken. If you look at the supply chain, millions of people have also benefited from that. If you look at what is going on in terms of the policies that the government has also provided, these are enabling environment that will bring future growth. And even in power, you need power, of course, to also ensure economic growth and prosperity. This government in the past 3 years has been laying the foundations for this. Unless that is done, there will be no meaningful economic growth and development.
Indeed, but when you look at, I mean, you've talked about the school feeding program and power and employment rate, but when you look at the statistics as well, nothing seems to have changed much. I mean, the rate of unemployment, it's 23.1%. The number of school children out of school hasn't reduced either. So would you say that these economic policies really, have made the difference that Nigerians really need?
Of course, it depends on where you get your, or other people get their information from.
These are statistics by the
deliberate
National Bureau of Statistics. The unemployment rate was released last quarter, 2018, by National Bureau of Statistics. And the out-of-school children, it's UNESCO and UNICEF figures. I mean, those figures don't lie, they say.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you is that despite that, yes, there are challenges, but you must lay the foundation for this. Unless that is done, there is a process, there is an improvement. This is only 3 years of this government. We don't expect the government to perform miracles in 3 years. That's why they're laying the foundations for this. So it is a startup, and if the government is in the next level agenda plans to improve on what they have done. So this will definitely improve the statistics in future.
Okay, let me take you to the area of security. As somebody in the diaspora, you may feel it, you may not feel it. But one of the things President Muhammadu Buhari promised to work on was the area of security, which happens to be one of his cardinal programs. But what we can say today, the governor of Borno State, not too long ago, was in the Aso Villa, and he shed tears to say that the insecurity in the Northeast is at the level of 2013 and 2014. And we see the insecurity in places like Zamfara and the Middle Belt, where herdsmen had a field day killing farmers last year. Will you say Buhari has performed in the area of security?
Yeah, he has done excellently well. I myself am an international security consultant. If you analyze security methods, you will know that he's done well. Now, let me start. Before he came into power, 17 local governments were annexed by Boko Haram. He came into power and he liberated those 17 local governments. Also, before Buhari came into government, there had been bombings in Abuja, I think in Kaduna and some other states outside the northeastern zone. That is not happening. He has been able to contain that. You should remember that America has been fighting Al-Qaeda and ISIS for years, many years. So to fight terrorism, the terrorists also changed their methods of attack. But Buhari government has been able to contain them, and hopefully they will be able to win that battle. Yes, the Borno State governor, as a governor, you have to feel for your people, irrespective of whether some local governments have been liberated or not. What the terrorists do is that they embark on guerrilla warfare. They come in at night and they attack his people. That is being worked on. So the Buhari government has done a lot in terms of security.
All right, let me come to you. You're a board member of the Nigeria Ports Authority, being appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari. And over the last 2 years, you were appointed in 2016. Over the last 2 years, as we've seen in the most of all this administration, things have been terrible at the ports. The access roads are still dilapidated. Things are getting worse and worse for Nigerian ports. And we say to you that, looking at it closely, what has this administration done in terms of actually ensuring that the ports are actually free and open to Nigerians, whereby we can actually go in there, access goods, come out easily? And things are really bad, I must actually say. Are you there from that particular perspective? Speak to us about what the president is actually doing to ensure that, if given another chance, things might actually improve.
Yes, most of the Nigerian Port Authority is trying its best to ensure that the roads, the Apapa Road is being constructed. As we speak, the Apapa Road is under construction. There had been some issues, bottlenecks, but this has been taken care of, and the road is now undergoing construction. With that, we believe that when imports come in, there will be easy access for them, for goods to get into the hinterland of the country. And also, we are also trying to make sure that we have other dry ports inland, and also try to construct a railway, link it to the national railway project of the Ministry of Transport, so that when goods come in, then rather than use the roads, they can use the rail system to Kano, through Lagos, to Kano and other parts of the country. That is what we're trying to do, to make sure that that improves the movement of goods in and out of the port.
Let us talk about the fight against corruption, which is also one of the 3 promises President Muhammadu Buhari made to come into power in 2015. You, in several forums, have applauded and lauded the president's strive, but the president himself has come out to say, you know, the fight against corruption is slow. I admit it's slow. This is not what we envisaged. Do you still maintain that this administration is fighting corruption optimally?
This administration is fighting corruption optimally and fervently because if you look at the history of Nigeria, there's no government in the history of Nigeria that has recovered more funds from former public servants than this government. There is no government in Nigeria that has prosecuted former public servants than this government. But the president is correct. There is corruption. The corruption in Nigeria is systemic, and it has infiltrated the judicial system. If you see, there are many cases that are pending. Even the EFCC has complained. Don't forget, Magu even said that some of these there are some corrupt lawyers that connive with their clients to claim hundreds of millions as legal fees only for them to go behind and share those funds. And also the judicial system is also corrupt. They deliberately delay and postpone the prosecution of corrupt civil servants. And that is why you have problem. That is why there is frustration in the system. Hence the need for the judiciary to sit back and reorganize the judiciary so that they can perform the duty of justice and fairness that the Nigerian people desire and deserve.
Okay, if I may just take you back to the ports. Perhaps you are not aware that there is a rail line that runs from the port. And I can tell you that passengers use that rail line every day. Perhaps the will to do what is right is what is lacking. If the government or the body where you are a board member, the Nigerian Ports Authority, perhaps do proper homework, you discover that containers can be sent out of the ports via the rail with little effort you put in. But I don't think you have explored this option.
There are rail lines that run into the port, but those rail lines, when we took over, were not working. There's no rail now that is walking directly into the ports. We need to fix the rail tracks properly and link it to the national rail transport system. That is what I'm telling you. The tracks there are not working at the moment. I don't know where you got the information that trains are actually running into the port at the moment.
At Apapa, I'm telling you, at Apapa, where you have the port, trains are running as we speak. We have our sister outfit, Dize. We are based in Apapa, and we know what we are talking about.
All those ones are have not been advanced to the level that we wanted to be linked to the national system. I don't know where you get your facts from, but as far as I'm concerned, the rail track there is not.
Linking it to the port.
Yeah, that is what we're working on. I'm not saying it cannot be done. What we are doing, what we have done at the board level, is to make sure that the facilities of the port are linked to the national rail system. And once that is done, then that will ease the movement of goods, containers from the port into the inland.
But do you know that even our ports is still not attractive to importers? A lot of our importers still go through Cotonou, where they have perhaps friendlier environment, better facilities, cheaper rates. So why are we losing this money? What are you doing in that direction?
Okay. One of the things we are doing is the ease of doing business. to make sure that there's there's one-stop shop for anybody that is coming, any importer or exporter. There's one-stop shop for them, so that they will not, they will bypass the issue of going to customs, and then you have to go to the end, NAFDAC, you have to, the multiplicity of agency at the port has been reduced, and we have the ease of doing business, which has come into effect and will be perfected, so that people will have easy access to processing their exports or imports. That is one aspect of it. The other aspect is to ensure that the facilities at the port are up to standard, and also the road, like I said earlier, the road network, and also the rail transport, the rail network, so that goods can be moved effectively and efficiently into the other parts of the country and across the nation. And also, we are trying also to develop that corridor, the corridor. With this, we will be able to attract also other importers or exporters from the West African region.
All right, Mr. Sylvester, a lot of people have actually said that this administration have given more excuses than solutions. Like we've rightly pointed out, the ports here in Nigeria has actually stifled businesses. You've also mentioned the area of power that seems to be the bedrock on how you want to build an economy that is not still working. And a lot of people are saying this is the reason why maybe that people should vote for other candidates aside from the incumbent as we speak right now, because there are more excuses being given as to reason why things are not working. Like you said, that this particular administration are not miracle workers, and that's why Nigerians are saying maybe we should actually opt to vote for other candidates as against the incumbent.
I disagree with you strongly on that. If, for example, somebody has been sick and they undergo an operation, you don't expect them to just stand up and start running. No. The Nigerian system had been bedeviled for the past 16 years. The PDP had ruined the economy of this country. They had so much resources. When oil was $150 per barrel, they had billions of dollars that they could have used to develop the infrastructure of this country, but rather they squandered our commonwealth, and also they used it to enrich their friends and families, like the present candidate is saying. While this government was left, when this government came into power, the funds had been squandered. So what else did you expect them to do? What they now decided to do was now prioritize and try to distribute the little funds that they were getting from oils that were like below $50 per barrel. And that the government is trying to do, and we should encourage this government. It is not easy for that to be done. Like I said, after the operation, you will have, of course, some pains. And Dr. Buhari, who is the doctor in charge of this operation of the Nigerian society or Nigerian nation, is taking his time to make sure that to assess the recovery process, so that Nigeria will move on to the greatness that we both desire and deserve. The patience is needed. Within 3 years, they've done much more than the other governments did in the past 16 years. They destroyed a lot of infrastructural facilities that were in place, and many companies left, many industrial companies left Nigeria. Like you had the likes of Dunlop, Siemens, and many of them that left this country. But with this development that is taking place stage by stage, step by step, there is hope for Nigeria. Please let all Nigerians unite and vote Muhammadu Buhari to continue with the good works that he's doing.
Mr. Sylvester, let me ask you, what is the one thing done by this administration that you are most proud of?
There are many, what will I say?
The one you're most proud of.
There are many things. If you talk, the one I'm most proud of is the war against corruption, because corruption in Nigeria is endemic. Corruption in Nigeria has been familiarized, it has been sedimentalized, it has been institutionalized, it has been organizationalized, and it has been nationalized.
Are you
But right now we are coming to the consciousness that
Transparency International on Corruption Perception Index, and that the country hasn't fared better under this administration. Are you aware? And what do you have to say to that?
I strongly disagree with that. I don't have to agree with whatever they say. But what I see on ground and what the people know is that more public servants under this government have been taken to court, and this government has also blocked loopholes. If you look at the TSA system, the government has blocked loopholes of government officials looting money from the government treasury, where many ministries and government departments had parallel accounts, private accounts that they were running and siphoning money. Trillions of naira had been saved through that process.
Well, in as much as you want to discountenance the report from the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index, let me just draw your attention to one of the reasons they gave, is that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari is very soft when it comes to corruption pertaining to officers in this administration. And we'll give you an example. Babacha Lawal, Mr. Oke, the NIDG, the former NIDG. And there are other instances that can be cited that the government of the day treats this incident with kid gloves. It was only last week they made an attempt to take Oke to court, and he was nowhere to be found. So these are the reasons why the Transparency International has rated Nigeria this low, that when it comes to corruption pertaining to officers in this government, President Muhammadu Buhari treats it with kid gloves. Babacha Lawal has not appeared in any court, despite the fact that he was indicted for corruption by this administration.
Yeah. What I will tell you is that that is not correct. That is not the correct situation, because Babacha Lawal and Oke, yes, were taken. Don't forget that it's a process. The president cannot go and interfere with the judicial process. He can only appeal to the judiciary so that they can do what they need to do. Like the EFCC has complained, the presidency have complained that the judiciary need to fast track any case that is brought before it. The president, the Federal Executive Council did not say, okay, we are going to try Babacha Lawal tomorrow. No, the process has been there for months, for many months. So it's the judiciary has brought this up.
They have not appeared in court. Why are you blaming the judiciary for their case? They have not even appeared in court. So you cannot blame the judiciary for Babacha Lawal not appearing in court. That's an executive arm of government that should do that. Bring them to court before you can blame the judiciary.
Yeah. Okay, I'll come to that. Let me just tell you this. If you look at the United Nations Agency for Drugs and Crime, published in 17th of August 1917 that the Nigerian judiciary collected most bribes. They were the highest bribe takers in the country. It is there, published by the United Nations Agency. So that there's a problem in the judiciary, like I had said earlier, where they deliberately delay cases. So if you only pick on those two or three people, there are hundreds of cases of fighting against corruption of past politicians and government officials that are deliberately being delayed. That is the problem this government has. The president is not there to protect anyone, because the president's credibility and integrity is there, but the process has to take its course. So we are saying that the judiciary and other arms of government should come up to standard and make sure that this process takes place quickly.
All right, Mr. Sylvester, I would like to point one particular fact. The vice presidential candidate of the PDP, Mr. Peter Obi, has actually said that the reason why we are actually suffering in Nigeria and why we are one of the poorest countries in the world is because anti-corruption is not an economic policy. And this particular administration has actually hinged on anti-corruption, the fight against corruption and the anti-graft war as an economic policy. And that is why the economy of Nigeria is actually dwindling and is actually failing.
Yeah, but the vice president responded that if somebody comes, if you say you are operating a shop, but somebody comes and steals everything in the shop, then there will be nothing for you to sell at all. So what we are trying to do is to lay the foundations. Don't forget that this government is a toddler government. You don't expect a toddler to start running. It's only 3 years. While the past government of the PDP had been there for 16 years. So this government should be given the opportunity. All we are doing is laying foundations. In the next 4 years, you begin to see actual development in all facets of the economy and in all sectors of the society. That's why we are appealing to Nigerians to give this government the opportunity so that we can continue with the good works. It takes time. It's a process. And hopefully we will get there. And I believe that the Buhari administration, in terms of its integrity, in terms of his personality, in terms of the international acceptability of this president, that we have an opportunity to lead Nigeria in the path of greatness.
Okay, Mr. Sylvester, considering that diasporans do not vote in the Nigerian election, what is your group bringing to the table for the re-election bid of President Muhammadu Buhari? That's one. Two, as a support group, you understand the importance or lack of it of an endorsement by a group. Just recently, we had the Northern Society Forum withdraw its support for President Muhammadu Buhari and now transferring that support to Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. How much of an effect would that have on your candidate?
Let me just tell you this. Yes, diasporans cannot vote, but like if you watch the program that we had yesterday, which your reporter was there, I showed my PVC. What happened was that when President Buhari declared that he was going to run, we campaigned and we mobilized support. One of diasporans abroad, that they should come to Nigeria and join the voter registration process. Many of them came to Nigeria to join that process. I have my PVC, like I said, and I'll be coming to vote. So many thousands of diasporans have come here, and they will vote on Saturday. Secondly, what we did was to mobilize support and say, yes, for those diasporans that cannot vote, they should call home, they should phone home and inform Nigerians here that President Muhammadu Buhari is the only one, which of course we know that he's respected in the international community. He's somebody that has integrity. Integrity is key in the international community. His personality, incorruptible personality, is key, that he is somebody that they can do business with. So we call our relatives back home to also inform them that, look, this is the person that should vote. Apart from that, we came here, like our group and many other support groups came, and we also embarked on the door-to-door campaign, the house-to-house campaign. We also went to marketplaces and other places to tell Nigerians that, look, he is the person that they should vote. Now, talking about whatever group, there are many, there's a lot of politics going on. There's a lot of manipulation going on, but one thing you cannot take, President Muhammadu Buhari is a phenomenon. There are people that know his track record, having been a governor, having been a GOC, having been a minister of petroleum, having been a former head of state. This is somebody that has only one bungalow in Kaduna and one in Daura, while other people had amassed oil wells and also taking our collective wealth as their personal property. He has not done that. So the people in the north are more politically enlightened, and they know who to vote for. That's why anywhere he goes, he does not buy crowds. They come because of the love that they have for this man.
Okay, Mr. Sylvester, I must say I admire your passion as somebody who lives outside the country, but you have taken so much interest and commitment to activities at home. Now, you said you've mobilized a number of your diasporans to come home. They are registered, they should come home and vote. But with the kind of statement we're hearing from somebody like Efe, threatening body bags and all that, don't you think some of people from the diaspora, Nigerians from the diaspora who have registered will be scared to come home?
No. We're not scared. I think Efe has explained his statement. His statement was, to him, misinterpreted. He said those that want to come and interfere in the election. Of course, if somebody wants to come and interfere in Nigerian election, me and you will resist that. That is what he was trying to say. He wasn't saying that the international monitors will go back in body bags, but he was just saying that, look, he was just making a general statement that if anybody wants to come and interfere in the electoral process, you cannot go to America and want to interfere in the electoral process of America, or you want to go there and get involved in rigging and get involved in trying to snatch ballot boxes or cause confusion and anarchy and chaos and feel that you come out scot-free. That's it. That's what he was trying to say. So that he has made that clarification that it was just misinterpreted. And I believe that this government, given the personality of Mr. President, who wants a free and fair and credible election, that the international committee, of course, knows his personality and integrity. Many Nigerians will come. Many members of the international community are welcome. They will be provided the security that they need, and there is no cause for alarm. Yes, they are welcome here, and I believe that it will be peaceful, it will be fair, it will be credible, because the Nigerian masses know who was here for the Nigerian masses. President Buhari is not here to privatize the Nigerian resources like some people want to privatize it. President Buhari is not here to corruptly enrich his friends. President Buhari does not have any private interests. So we believe that he is the champion of the masses. He's the general of the people. He is the one that is the mentor of the Nigerian masses. We look up to him, and we believe that the only one that can lead us to the greatness that we desire and deserve is President Buhari. We've had enough. We've had enough of a few people manipulating and looting our Commonwealth and Treasury, and they've impoverished our people. And this is the time for the masses to come out en masse and to say, look, he has laid the foundation for a better and greater Nigeria, for my grandchildren, for my children, and for your children, and for your great-grandchildren. That is what we are fighting for.
All right, Mr. Sylvester, you said that several Nigerians in diaspora have actually registered and they're in the country to vote for President Muhammadu Buhari as the chairman of the Buhari's diaspora organization. Do you have any particular number, or what's the figure of those that have actually come in to vote for this particular election?
No, I don't have the numbers, because, you know, the diaspora is a large constituency. You have millions of Nigerians outside the country. So I don't have any figures, but I'm aware that many have come.
The reason why I was asking a particular question was because you spoke like you had knowledge of the number of people that have actually come into Nigeria to come and vote for President Muhammadu Buhari. You sounded very, very factual about that particular figure.
Yeah, yes, because like I said, our organization, we have bases in Europe, we have bases in Asia, we have bases in America, and we have bases in other African countries. And the feelers we've got is that a lot of Nigerians, thousands of Nigerians are coming home to vote. And thousands of Nigerians, or if not millions, have also been getting in touch with their relations in Nigeria and telling them that, look, this is their own candidate. It's not only the APC, the PDP. I'm sure there are people over there, because we have all the APC and the PDP supporters all over the diaspora, and they are saying, come home and vote. And that has been done. And maybe in future, if we are given the opportunity to vote abroad, that will help. That is one of the things that we believe that the Diaspora Commission, which is being headed by Abike Dabiri, will work on for the future.
All right, I want to say many thanks to Mr. Charles Efe Sylvester, the chairman of the Buhari Diaspora Organization, this morning for actually joining us and sharing your thoughts about, okay, all right, okay, giving a shout out to the president there. And that's time for a short break here on the Rise News.